Hello and welcome to the Hebb&Griff Podcast. I'm Alex, aka Heb.
And I'm Ollie, aka Griff. And today we're going to introduce the podcast a little bit and talk about ourselves and how we got to where we are. So, Heb, why don't you start off with telling us all how you got into photography? Because I don't know yet. It's very interesting.
No. We've not spoke about it in great detail. And to be honest, I'm not that sure. I was racking my brains a little bit today to try and figure out how it started. And I think...
Well, when did you first pick up a camera and think, I'm enjoying this?
Yeah, I think you have to go back a little bit further than that even, because I think my creativity started probably in primary school, because I used to really like drawing. And I used to sort of sit down in an evening and draw a lot of pictures, and my dad used to say to me, why don't you draw this? And I draw that. I remember winning a couple of drawing competitions in school.
Oh, get you.
Well. So, yeah.
Already a good start in life, isn't it?
Yeah. Just it's a good sign for when we start winning BAFTAs. No, I guess that kind of stuck with me, and I think that's definitely where kind of the creativity started from, for like the graphic design side of what I do. And that kind of continued through school, especially as I started to study art in secondary school. And I think GCSE level art is where I started to look into photography as well. I just started to pick up on some of the well-known photographers like Henry Cartier-Bresson, and David Bailey.
Did you have to do? Did you have to do any photography in art GCSE? Because I didn't.
Well, no. I think I maybe did, but if I had to put a bet on it, I'd say it was pretty terrible.
We've got to start somewhere.
I remember doing a lot more kind of like painting. Yeah, well, exactly. I remember doing more kind of painting in art, but then it stepped up a gear when I went to college, which is high school if any Americans are going to watch this. And I started to study photography there. There's a photography course and also media studies, which involved a lot of camera work as well. But yeah, the photography in college, that's where I got my first camera. My first, and you'll have been the same, I'd imagine. We studied film photography in our first year.
Yeah.
And that was a real sort of strong foundation to start to learn photography, because there's a lot of intricacies. Probably, I don't know, do you think there's more intricacies with film photography than digital?
There's tons more intricacies with film photography. Like, that was a real eye-opener for me. Like, I don't know, because like the amount of work that goes into taking the picture and then having to develop the picture before you can even see it. I mean, now we've got it completely easy, haven't we? Like, we could just take a picture, instantly see it on the screen, and then in other cases you can just get it straight onto your phone and edit it straight away. But having to kind of chance it when taking pictures and not really knowing whether you got the shot or not. Like it definitely helps you be a better photographer, because you're more selective with the pictures that you take, which is ironic with the conversation we was having earlier on, like with you saying that you kind of get a bit snap happy. But like that's the same with me as well. Like, because you've got the opportunity to be able to just take loads of pictures and have them straight there in front of you, you can do that. But definitely with film.
That's it. Yeah. For me, it definitely taught me to sort of value the shot a bit more, value the singular shot rather than because obviously you've got a limited amount of shots you can take on a film camera, and especially when you're a student and you've got no money and you're working for a takeaway, trying to scrape some money together, you can't afford more film.
No, it's expensive, isn't it?
So yeah, it it's a good lesson. And then obviously in second year, we started to study digital photography more. And pretty much everybody jumped ship to digital photography just because in the long run it's a little bit cheaper. Because obviously you buy your digital camera and your SD card and you're good to go.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and I think that's when I got my first digital SLR as well. Second year, I managed to twist my parents. Actually, there's a funny story behind that. For those of you who don't know, me and Ollie were in a band.
We was.
A long time ago. And we played a gig in Manchester. And it was a great night and everything. And we stayed overnight at the promoter's house and went back to the car next day. And we'd left all our guitars in there. And everything someone had smashed into the car and taken them all. And in my guitar bag was a video camera.
Oh, yeah. Your video camera.
Yeah. That we were trying to do kind of like, I guess like early vlogs on, I suppose.
Yeah.
So that disappeared, and we managed to claim on insurance for the guitar and for the camera. So I got a new guitar and I got a new camera, which was my digital SLR, which I don't know if you can see in the shot, but it's just behind me now. It's happily retired now, I would say. But yeah, that's how I got my first digital SLR.
I completely forgot about that little film camera.
Yeah, God knows what's on there, or it probably doesn't exist anymore. It probably got sold for not very much for some criminal purposes. But yeah, I forgot about it, to be honest, until I was thinking about it today. That's basically how I got started and how I learned. And then it became like a bit of a back burner kind of thing. It was something I'd pick up every now and then and do bits with. It's something I never took seriously because I did my degree at university in design. And I used a little bit of my videography and photography knowledge there. But on a whole, it wasn't that useful because obviously it's design. But then I got a job as a designer. And then a few years down the line doing that, they needed someone to do a video. And I said, well, actually, I've got a camera. I can shoot videos. I can edit videos. So I kind of got roped into doing that, and it kind of re-sparked my passion for photography and for videography. And then maybe a couple of years later, that's when me and you kind of realised that we're both pretty good at this thing, and that's when we decided to make Hebb&Griff.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much my story. Now we're kind of up to date with some pretty high tech stuff and going pretty well so far. That's me. What about you?
That's interesting. I think mine's kind of not completely different to yours, but like, so, well, firstly, talking about your film camera reminded me of when we used to make little short films at one of our best mates' house. It's called Dan. Do you remember that? We used to get the glow sticks that you can crack. So we used to make it. Well, it was kind of like an almost like an animation, wasn't it? Like
yeah, it was kind of like animation / puppetry.
Yeah, so we'd have all the lights off, yeah, and we'd start doing that was our first taste of the film. Well, my first taste of the film world, and maybe that's part of where my inspiration came from. Maybe if we didn't do all that wacky stuff back in the day, I might not have formed an interest in videography and photography. You never know. Like
we did a couple at my parents' house as well. Do you remember? We thought we was incredibly clever doing sort of freeze frame edits, going in one door, pressing pause.
Oh yeah,
and coming out another door.
Oh yeah,
Looking like just travelling.
It's that thing where I think every kind of teenager goes through that stop, pause, resume frame. Phase frame. What am I on about? I can't even speak. Yeah, that phase where they discover like an almost magic trick, and we definitely had some fun with that. I remember we used to do a lot of films on skate back in the day as well. So like even stuff like that. That's kind of building on the passion a little bit, because like when we were making the little films, you're thinking about the angle of the camera and how you want to shoot it. And I think that's where I first learned, the parallax shots that you can get where you start zoomed in on a subject from far away, and then as you move closer you zoom out.
Dolly zoom.
What?
Yeah.
Dolly zoom, yeah, that's it.
Dolly zoom, yeah.
So I think that's where I first, because I remember you showing me it, and you was teaching me how to do it, and I think that's where I first actually understood how it was actually done. Like I'd seen it done on films and that, but I'd never known what actually happened with it. And I think when you showed me that was the first time I'd actually really knew how it was done. And then years after that, I completely forgot how it was done. And then now all of a sudden, with a camera in my hand, then it kind of comes back to you then. But with my photography / videography journey, so I was probably in, was it maybe late primary school, early secondary school. I remember my mum and dad got a little Fujifilm digital camera, and it was only like a little point and shoot, and it was the most basic of cameras ever. But I remember I always used to have a go of it behind my dad's back, because he'd never actually let me have a go with it, because he thought I'd break it. But like I'd always been messing with the macro on there, thinking it was like the best thing in the world, because you could just get close-up shots of like my shoes or something, and it's like the best thing ever. Oh my god, I can see the detail. And I remember I used to really, really enjoy doing that. And I think after a while, when kind of my mum and dad realised I enjoyed kind of playing with the camera, I think, I can't remember if they got me a camera or I asked them for a camera. And it was this point and shoot Samsung. And I used to, back in the day, when I used to skate a lot, I used to go out with it and take pictures of everyone skating, and like
I did a bit of that too.
Looking back, the pictures that I thought were absolutely unreal were like so bad. Like because you have no knowledge of exposure or aperture or anything like that. You don't really know how to make a picture look good. So like just constantly using the auto setting and like just thinking, oh my god, this picture is amazing, I can't believe I took this. But like you don't really actually learn to take a picture until you start learning manual.
But you'll learn about shutter speed and aperture and that in college, I presume.
Yeah, so that's I think after I got my Samsung little camera, nothing much really happened. I kind of grew out of taking pictures with it in a sense, and then the passion kind of came back once when one of my mates got I don't think it was an SLR it wasn't a camera that you could change the lens on. It was just like a camera that looked like an SLR camera, and I remember holding it in my hands and thinking, God, this feels ace in your hands. Like, I just really want to have a go with a camera like this. So I remember a lot of the times I used to borrow it off him, and just, again, I think that was when we was BMXing. And so I used to just take pictures of everyone BMXing. And then after a while, I just stopped. I think it's when I stopped skateboarding, that's when I stopped taking the pictures with that camera. And then I stopped BMXing. So then I felt like I didn't have anything to kind of take pictures of, because that was my passion at the time. So I just kind of grew out of each of my passions, which made me stop taking the pictures of them. So then fast forward to when we're at college, and I did, well, the same as you, photography and media. And that's kind of where, well, that's definitely where my passion ignited again, because obviously I took photography and media because I had that interest there. So I'd never lost the interest in photography, even though I kind of stopped doing it for those few years after BMXing and that. So yeah, photography in college was a real eye opener. Like we were saying with the film side of it, it definitely made you look at things a lot different. And yeah,
black and white too, we should say.
Yeah, well, yeah, black and white, yeah. So I think a black and white picture gives a photo a whole new kind of lease of life in some ways, because like it, I don't know. The thing about black and white pictures is it's the kind of picture that just tells the story, rather than trying to be fancy with like editing the colours and stuff like that. It literally, like, it tells the story much better and gets the point across much better than a colour photo. So that is the really interesting thing about black and white. And I love black and white street photography. I remember I did a lot on, I think it's Joel Mayowitz or something like that. Rob Mayowitz. I don't know. I'll have to have a look. But so yeah, college, I didn't really do very well in college. I kind of failed college miserably, and the problem was it wasn't the practical side of things that made me fail, because like my tutors always said, your practical's great, it's just your what's the word when you have to write stuff academically,
like theory.
Yeah, and theory and stuff like that, I wasn't very good at. And it's just that I just didn't know how to write about pictures and that. I know how to take a good picture, but I just can't. I can't write what's in my head. So then I think after college, nothing much really happened. Got a job at BHS, head of the lighting department, you know. So come to me.
That might have been a sign.
Yeah, come to me about all your lighting needs. I mean, I know how to light up a space perfectly, thanks to BHS. So yeah, big respect. And then so after that, I think when Ben, so a clothing company that we work for, Dying to Achieve, that we do some work for, he knew that I was into my photography and videography and wanted to get me involved. And then from that came the start of Hebb&Griff, because I got Heb involved with it, because I just wanted someone creatively that I could work well with. And then, you suggested doing this, and then here we are now.
Yeah, we should maybe preface as well that we've been best mates since school, really, haven't we?
Well, that's what you think.
Quite a while.
Yeah, you think we've been best mates.
Most of the time, yeah.
I've spent all my secondary school years being picked on by you, so...
It's not my fault, it's yours.
Well, the camera done that, I'm sure.
If it's anyone's fault, it's yours.
No, it's my mum and dad's fault. They made me this way.
Hey, don't talk bad about Kiara. She's a lovely woman. So sort of outside of your friends then, like who was like kind of a big inspiration for you? Who kind of pushed you with your hobby, would you say? Or was it kind of mostly self-motivated?
Probably I would say probably mostly self-motivated. There was no one... I don't think there was anyone that ever... Because like I never really... Like with you or anything, we never really... That wasn't what made us friends. Like it's not photography and that made us friends. It was like our circle of friends, and then the fact that we was in a band together. And I think I spent so many years being in a band and gigging and that I never really had anyone around me that was like passionate about photography and inspired me to want to do photography. I always thought, I'd love to take pictures of bands gigging, because I used to love seeing the pictures of me that I get back from the photographers, and that kind of reminded me that I enjoyed photography, but I never really had the time to take it up as a passion or anything, because I was so busy with being in a band and stuff like that I never had time to pick that passion up. That was the biggest problem, I think. I think that's what kind of held me back. And then when I finally had the time to pick this passion back up, which is after the last band I was in broke up, and then it allowed me to explore this passion a lot more. And so I would say it's definitely more self-influenced and self-motivated for my photography anyway. What's yours? Would you say your dad was a bit of an influence? Because I know your dad's very passionate about it.
Yeah, he is. I think he definitely pushed me, but not in like a pushy kind of trying to live vicariously.
You will do photography.
I think, he just, he encouraged me. I think he saw that I had the talent to do it. I think there was just probably an element of me not being asked with it, which I could probably attest to, especially in my teenage years. But I always enjoyed it, and obviously I think he could see that I enjoyed it and was good at it, and just wanted to keep me at it. And also my godfather as well. My godfather's a photography lecturer, and he's very, very passionate about photography. And again, I think he could see that I enjoyed it, and he wanted to encourage me along. So I owe a lot to them both, really. Did he? Especially as well because they were buying me the equipment most of the time.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
Did he teach you a lot then? Is it your uncle? Yeah.
The godfather.
Godfather, yeah, the godfather.
Yeah. I think it was more about kind of opening my mind to stuff, like showing me examples of good photographers and showing me pictures that he'd done as well. Especially because he does a lot of film photography and black and white photography. He's a real sort of advocate for film photography, especially kind of these days. And he was, so in my first year of college when we was doing black and white and film photography, he was really helping me out, sort of showing me who to look at and helping me talk about these different photographers. So yeah, that was good. But yeah, no, not so much teaching side of it. I think I don't know. I don't think there's any particular reason for that. I just think he probably assumed that I knew the basics of stuff. I remember he had a real passion for pinhole photography as well.
Pinhole?
Yeah, he was really good at pinhole photography, or at least he's experimented with it a lot to be at a point where he's good with it. Because obviously pinholes quite a finite thing to do.
Yeah. I never really got that. Well, I was interested in pinhole photography, but like, I think the fact that it was such a difficult way and the process to take the picture was a much harder process than just picking up a camera.
Yeah. Did you make your own camera? Did you make your own pinhole camera?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I did it out of a Pringles tube or something. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. A lot of people. I think I made one out of a shoebox. I think.
Did you?
I seem to remember my tutor was quite impressed with me because everyone else just did Pringle. I was like, well, that's just because I don't eat Pringles.
You eat shoes.
Yeah.
What an animal.
Aside from that, it's mostly, like you say, it's kind of self-motivation. And I think, to be honest, mate, like as we've gone into this kind of professional sphere with it, you have motivated me as well, because I see some of the stuff you do and I'm like, bloody hell, that's a brilliant photo.
Oh, mate,
it's made me want to get better.
That means a lot, mate. Now, I'm glad that I've helped motivate your passion. That's good. Yeah,
no, of course, mate. As well as, other people. Obviously, we're both fans of McKinnon and our other friend Luke Michael James as well. He's a very good photographer. So it's there's a lot of inspiration to be had, I would say.
Yeah, I think more recently, definitely like with what you're saying. So like with the likes of like Luke doing photography, and then people like Peter McKinnon showing up more on the scene, and then other YouTubers like that, like Matty Poyer. Yeah. I think with it being such an influx of photographers and filmmakers showing up on YouTube, definitely it definitely helped motivate me a lot more, because I'd see a different tutorial come up one week or something else the next, and it just made me really want to try it. And then so I think you're right. You've kind of hit the nail on the head there with that being a kind of motivating factor as well. Definitely.
Yeah. So to wrap up, I want to ask you if you had to give advice to somebody sort of up and coming, maybe somebody that's already kind of experimented with photography, has like a basic understanding, what would you kind of say to them, given your experience?
Given my experience, just if you're not sure what you want to do, just go out, shoot all the time, find out what you feel like you're passionate about when you're taking pictures or doing the videography side of things, because you're just going to waste time sitting there thinking, what do I want to do? What avenue do I want to go for? And work.
Give yourself an objective.
Yeah. And if you want to go down the avenue of doing work for other people, I'd say find out as many of your friends that are doing something creative. So like, for example, with me, my friend was starting a clothing company, so then I got involved with that. So then that kick-started off this new career that I eventually want to have as a full-time career. So yeah, friends can really help in those situations. And it's not that, like, I'm not saying that you're going to find a friend that's going to have some kind of business or something, but I don't know, maybe try and collab with other people on Facebook and stuff like that.
Definitely.
What would
especially,
you say?
I think, well, just to sort of go off the back of that, I think if you're starting off and you're not afraid to do a bit of work for free, then do a bit of work for free.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Just to sort of build your profile, build your confidence as well, build your skill set. I think a good one as well is to, if you know a couple that don't mind getting the pictures taken, maybe just offer to do a couple shoot with them, or a family shoot, or a pet shoot if that's what you want to do. Just start somewhere. Basically, I think that's the best sort of tidbit from that, is just to start somewhere and build on it. For me, it's sort of echoing what you say. Just make sure you know your settings, and you know your technical aspects of it, your shutter speed and your ISO and all that. And get comfortable with it, get familiar with it. You don't need the world's best camera to make a start. That's something you can work towards. And to be honest, if you got the world's best camera, you probably wouldn't know what half the settings mean on it if you're just starting out anyway. I know when we got our new cameras, Ollie had to talk me through some of the stuff and I had no idea what they were.
Yeah, I still have no idea what any of the settings are. I just winged it. Just like Ollie says, just take photos. That's the best thing you can do. Take photos, learn, see what other people are doing, try and emulate that. Don't completely rip it off, maybe. Just keep practicing, keep getting better, and you know, same as anything, the harder you work at it, the better you're going to get at it. So yeah. Yeah, I think you made a really good point there with trying to emulate other people's work, because I feel like a lot of people will hold themselves back from doing something like that because they feel like they're copying, but you're not copying. You're taking inspiration from other people, and I've lost count the amount of times that I've done that, but it's good because you look at a picture that you really like and it inspires you to go out and take a shot just like that, or something similar to that.
The chances are the people that you're taking inspiration from have taken inspiration from somebody else.
Yeah, exactly.
So don't worry about it too much. Yeah.
No, yeah, just go
Excellent.
out there.
Well, I think we'll that's it. Get out there, get taking photos. I think we'll wrap it up nicely there. Thanks very much for watching.
Thank you very much.
Hopefully there'll be a few more of these, and you can keep up with us. We'll get some guests in. We'll do some different pieces. Try and keep it fun, lighthearted. Thanks very much for your time, and we'll see you again soon.
Yeah, thank you very much. Over and out. Arrivederci. Bon voyage. Peace.